Spell red.
Red? L-S-T-E-R.
BeetleJuice was known for being the smartest man to ever live, but his story is actually way sadder than people realize, with some even claiming that he had died. Pretty much all of his viral clips are from interviews on the Howard Stern show, but he hasn't made a public appearance in almost 5 years. So what happened? See, before becoming one of the most memed people on the internet, BeetleJuice apparently used to work as a dishwasher, mechanic, janitor, and somehow at the height of 4'3" he was also a construction site security guard, with clips like these coming out of him telling off trespassers. But he didn't actually become famous off of these clips, but instead from meeting a guy named Sean Rooney at a bar one night. Because that night, Sean approached BeetleJuice to join a dwarf tossing company. This is also, funnily enough, where he got his name from, since his face kind of resembled one of the main characters out of the film BeetleJuice, and it kind of just felt fitting for him to get the name since they were basically identical, explaining this in a clip that feels like a fever dream.
I made a movie named BeetleJuice.
But as ridiculous as joining a dwarf tossing company sounds, this was only the beginning of the weirdness, as one day he was invited to go onto the Howard Stern show, which at the time was one of the biggest social media platforms in the world. But more importantly, fans instantly loved him. The show put on a segment where BeetleJuice was asked some of the easiest questions to answer in the world, but he put on a supposed fake persona that made him seem really dumb, famously not even knowing what color a carrot was.
What color is a carrot?
Carrot? I think it's a carrot. I don't know about carrot.
Because of how hilarious these clips were, BeetleJuice would begin to sell out comedy shows and even start touring around the world, making appearances literally everywhere, keeping up what he called an act the whole time.
If you dig a 6-foot hole, how deep is that hole?
It's about like 20 feet.
He was at the literal peak of his career, making enough money to move him and his family out of his house in the projects, and everything seemed to be going perfectly. But then, seemingly overnight, BeetleJuice went from appearing everywhere to disappearing off of the face of the earth for 5 years. Because of this, fans even thought that he had possibly died due to his unspecified health condition. But the confusion from this seemed to have stemmed from BeetleJuice's manager and dwarf company owner Sean Rooney, as he was actually the one who had died back in 2009. But the interesting thing about BeetleJuice is, while he was gone, his legend had started to build up all across the internet as his old clips started to be shared around, going viral on TikTok. People questioned and worried why he had vanished, but luckily enough, just the next year, he decided to return to the internet, doing a Zoom interview with Howard Stern to explain his absence.
It is so good to see you, BeetleJuice. The fans have missed you for 5 years.
Howard explained that BeetleJuice had actually moved back in with his mom, and she wanted him to keep a low profile because people on the internet were crazy.
So you moved back in with your mom, right?
Right.
Your mom, who's
Right.
70 years old at this point, she decided you needed to have a low profile.
And then finally, when they asked him how old he was, he showed he had never lost his sense of humor, seriously claiming that he was 10 years older than his own mother.
Beat, how old are you at this point?
About 80 years old, man.
Wow.
Older
80
than your mother. That's interesting.
But if you think that BeetleJuice is the king of the internet,